guys, this is James with Rogue Duelist Trade, and on this channel we talk about current and upcoming Yu-Gi-Oh product and whether or not you should invest your money in order to profit. Guys, I get a certain question asked to me all the time, and it's how can I start making money from selling Yu-Gi-Oh? Where do I start? So I wanted to make a specific video on 5 steps to make Yu-Gi-Oh a side hustle. I basically want to talk through the early and foundational steps that you need to make in order to start your side business in buying and selling Yu-Gi-Oh. Now guys, before we jump in, if you guys want to find a place to get near wholesale rates on Yu-Gi-Oh product, be able to get exclusive content on product ratios before product release, get access to exclusive videos on ratios on or before product release, and be part of an amazing Discord community where you have access to so many people making a business out of Yu-Gi-Oh, where you can ask all the questions that you might have, you guys need to highly consider the RDT Patreon in partnership with ProPlay Games. This is the very first Yu-Gi-Oh Investments Patreon, and it really is a one-stop shop to basically have access to all the information and resources that you need in order to actually make Yu-Gi-Oh a side business. We just opened a bunch of level 4 spots where you guys can buy up to 2 cases of product at near wholesale rates. We also have some level 5 spots available where you guys can get up to 5 cases. If you guys want to check out the Patreon, go in the link in the description down below. All right guys, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So step 1 in helping make Yu-Gi-Oh a side hustle is do your research and get ahead of your investment, which was actually recommended by one of my patrons, which was Boognish Yugioh. Now what that looks like could be step 1 coming on to Rogue Duelist Trade, because I talk about all upcoming Yu-Gi-Oh product. Now definitely don't take that as your only source of information. I hope that these videos can help spur you guys to do research of your own so that you can come to conclusions on what product you want or do not want to invest in. Never go into a product investment blindly. Always know what you're getting into. Certain product you might want to hold on to sealed, such as Rage of Ra would be an example of that, and from my perspective. Or there's product that you may want to open immediately, such as core product, for example, Rise of the Duelist, which also turned out to not be that bad of a long-term hold sealed. And also another shameless plug on the RDT Patreon that I have in partnership with ProPlay Games. We provide you guys ratio videos on or before product release, and that can be very helpful to help you guys decide whether or not you should crack open product. Because if you have things like the Ghost Rare Winged Dragon of Ra from Rage of Ra, knowing the ratios and how likely it is that you're going to be able to pull that Ghost Rare may determine whether or not you want to keep the product sealed. Because a lot of cards that are hard to chase after in a lot of cases can help sealed product value long term. So knowing ratios of your likelihood of getting that card, whether or not you open the product, hold it long term sealed, or sell it immediately but keep it sealed. Also, certain product has history of not always doing well. So again, doing your research beforehand can help ensure that you do not make as many mistakes, because you're definitely going to make mistakes. It's going to happen, but not make as many of them and learn before you make them. Step number 2 in helping making Yu-Gi-Oh a side hustle, and really this could relate to anything, is getting your costs down for both product and materials as low as possible. And that usually happens best if you buy in bulk. So first, in terms of product, you want to try to get product at near wholesale rates, and getting near wholesale rates usually requires that you buy at a minimum 1 case. And sometimes if you buy up to 5 cases or more, your cost per case can go down even more so, depending on the source that you're buying product from. Now, great resources would be Game Nerds as an example, or Dave and Adams. Those are sites that I have bought product from in the past. But again, another shameless plug, the RDT Patreon is a great place to get the best rates that you guys can typically find on your own without a distributor. Through the Patreon, we're able to get you guys best price. But that only helps increase your margins. Obviously, if you get your costs down as much as possible, that leaves more room for making more profit. And it really goes the same for your materials. If you are buying and selling trading cards, and in this example, Yu-Gi-Oh, you need to have top loaders, you need to have envelopes, you need to have stamps. You may want to have business cards that you put in all of your envelopes when you send them out. You need to have penny sleeves. These are the types of things that usually you can probably find on eBay or through other websites where you can buy these things in bulk, which helps you get your cost per item cheaper. For example, I bought 1,000 top loaders and I was able to get it at the time, I think for between like $80 to $100. If you guys go in my description down below, I have already pre-vetted a lot of places on both Amazon and eBay where you can get some material for as cheap as possible, at least for that I could find at the time of putting that list together. So if you go in the description below, you guys can find sources for top loaders, penny sleeves, envelopes, etc. But again, when you buy in bulk, even though it's more costly at the beginning, beginning. Long term, it's going to save you money, especially if you're trying to turn over a lot of product and inventory quickly, which if you are buying cases of product, you're going to have a lot of singles if you're opening it up. So you might as well get ahead. That way you can make your investments more profitable into Yu-Gi-Oh. Step number 3, which was actually also suggested by a patron on the Patreon through Discord, which is from my patron Khan. He suggested that it's very important to understand all of your expenses and costs. So it's basically a perfect segue from the previous point, because you need to really keep track of what you're spending on your stamps, on your top loaders, on your envelopes, on your overall shipping, on your processing fees that you pay for doing transactions, on your seller fees. If you sell through websites like eBay and TCGPlayer, they do take a percentage of your sale. You need to make sure you understand all those costs so you understand what profit you're actually making. Now, I did say this in a previous video, it's good to have a separate bank account. I talked about that in the 5 lessons in vending Yu-Gi-Oh. Having a separate bank account makes it a lot easier for you to keep track of your costs and your profits. And that way you can determine how much of your profits you want to use and reinvest, which was also something noted, which I absolutely agree with. You definitely want to understand what is your personal business model for how much of your margins you're actually reinvesting into more product. And obviously at first you do have some setup costs. You need to buy your first product. You need to buy all of your materials, and you kind of have to spend money to make money in the beginning. But once you get your model going and you are starting to make money, you really do need to figure out what margins you are going to be flipping into more investments into products. Step number 4 in making Yu-Gi-Oh a side hustle is find a space for your business. If you guys saw my vending 101 video, I showed you guys my setup. I literally have a table and storage set up right next to my furnace in my basement in an unfinished space, but it's the perfect space for me to be able to have boxes for all of my inventory where I store my singles, and also for me to have a space separated where I have my printer and I have all of my material set up where I can go and take care of orders as soon as they come in. You want to have that dedicated space to kind of help reduce chaos and help you figure out a rhythm when you are doing your business. And it really is kind of separating yourself from your daily life or your actual job that you may have, and you step into your zone where you're doing your vending and Yu-Gi-Oh product, and it really does make things a lot easier and helps you stay organized. Also not mentioned in this list, but also coupled with the idea of having your own space for your business, is staying organized. Definitely make sure you guys keep yourself organized and do it in the best way possible. It only helps you from getting stressed out if you get a bunch of orders, and a lot of times you might get orders from cards from completely different sets, so you really have to know where you place all of your cards so you can find them quickly. And lastly, step number 5 in making Yu-Gi-Oh a side hustle, which is very foundational, is deciding on what platform or platforms you're going to use to actually sell your product. Now, this can be very important. Now, I have primarily used TCGPlayer because it's very easy to flip product quickly. If you want to sell product quickly, you go on TCGPlayer because a lot of people go there and it is strictly for selling trading cards. TCGPlayer does take a significant percentage of the sale, and TCGPlayer is always going to be priced lower than any other e-commerce platform out there. Now, there is somebody on the Patreon through Discord, which is Vlad, and he's kind of opened my eyes a little bit because he actually sells product through platforms that not a lot of people sell through, such as Etsy. It's not always priced the most competitively, but you can get more margins on your sales if people are willing to pay those prices on different platforms. Now, you can also sell on places like Facebook Marketplace. If you can build up a very credible reputation on a lot of these buying and selling Facebook groups on Facebook, that can be another great place to sell your product. And I have seen people sell things even on Instagram, making a selling account on Instagram and putting cards that you're selling on your story, or just posting product you're selling through posts on Instagram. I think eBay is very similar to TCGPlayer. I think a lot of people prefer eBay largely because they actually can back up you as the seller more than TCGPlayer. A lot of people can argue that TCGPlayer is more of a customer-friendly platform versus a seller-friendly platform. And in some cases, that can be a good thing. If you're a seller and you're an honest seller and you have a customer that might do something very deviant towards you, most of the time, TCGPlayer will take the customer over the seller. From what I've heard, eBay will do a little more due diligence and may actually back the seller if they have a good reputation. That's definitely something to do more research into. And honestly, choosing a selling platform is probably something I can do an entire video on, and it would require me to do a lot more research because I really only have heavier experience in selling on TCGPlayer, very light experience selling on eBay, and I haven't really sold much on any other platform. So that's something I may do more research on later down the road. And also something to mention in this, you could start your own website, which does help you get your costs down. You only have to really worry about your website hosting fees and also processing fees for credit card transactions. That is definitely something you want to consider, but it is harder if you don't really have a good way to market it, but it's definitely another avenue you can take. All right, guys, so that's the end of the video. What do you guys think? This is definitely not an all-inclusive list of steps to help you make Yu-Gi-Oh! A side hustle, but I think these are very foundational things and very thought-provoking things to help you guys start getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! As a side business if that's something that you want to do. Now, guys, for some of you that are more seasoned in this, I would love to hear from you. Let me know down in the comments below, not just for me, but for everybody else who watches this channel, what are steps that you guys would have put on this list, or what are things that you guys would change from this list? I would absolutely love to hear from you, and I'm sure everybody else would as well. Now, guys, again, don't wait on checking out the RDT Patreon if that's something that you're very interested in, because as I said, spots are very limited, at least for spots that are able to buy product. We do have unlimited amount of spots if you guys just want to get access to exclusive content, or just be able to get onto the Discord and have access to the great group that we have on Discord through the Patreon. And guys, also check out my brand new channel, Rogue Duelist TV. I'm really gonna have a lot of fun with that channel, and I wanna be able to do more creative things or just different types of content as it relates to Yu-Gi-Oh! I'd really love for you guys to be able to join me there and kind of get a different side of who I am, especially as it relates to Yu-Gi-Oh! And guys, if you haven't done it already, if you're not subscribed to this channel, if you're enjoying this content, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video from me. And to help the YouTube algorithm, like this video. That will help spread this content and we can help grow this channel together. I appreciate you guys stopping by. We'll see you in the next video.